I think ko atari iby'abazungu ahubwo it's
human
and it's very serious. You know, on the previous talk I had with the young guys, we were talking about how our mental health will always be more important than what a career will ever be. You know, careers or anything else in life, because everything we do, everything we say, everything we think, everything we do starts from within. Starts from your head. Nta gupfa kuva mu rugo tugiye ugatekereza ka nkarabe njyaha n'imvange byavuye nyine umutwe rero hatameze neza wagenda utaze ugiye ukagwa Nyabarongo. So you know, it's something worth addressing and something worth talking about. Yeah. And so you know, something very interesting with the feedback I'm getting from the previous videos I've done. Hariyo twakoranye ma videos za mbere na Keza and Moses, and when I'm chilling with my friends today, this is true story. Batangira nyine ni black baseka none se bro none wafunguye channel wabaye YouTube and then wabaye influencer, and then tukanywa kamwe tukanywa tubiri akagatatu bakenda bagushyira ku ruhande umwe none se bro umuntu amenya gute ko afite depression. And then we have this talk because you know it's a vulnerable question, and also for somebody to come and open up and ask you this, you have to take this seriously. So when I take it serious and try and address it, there's this sense of yo kuruhuka yo gati kumbe burya uyumva gutya none se umuntu abyitwaramo gute, and then ukamubwira gutya ukumva it's, and then it goes from that person undi nawe ku ruhande. So ni iki cyerekana ko umuntu ashobora kuba yahuye n'ibibazo ukamuha example imwe, and then it ended up being hafi ya twese, you know. And we're like, you see,
both men and women?
Yeah, both men, actually more men.
Yes.
Yeah, more, more of my male friends. And then
that's good.
I've actually been thinking, because some of them have also interesting stories. I don't know, very comfortable speaking in front of cameras. So it also gave me an idea. I started thinking, how can we have the sessions, off camera for everybody now to feel unexposed and okay and comfortable. And I don't know, ndabizi wowe uri umurokore hari yimbwira ngo ugiye muri cell ngiye gutya na gutya. How do you think we should, or how can we adopt that, cyangwa se ni gute twa creating another platform itariho these cameras where we can sit and actually invite, twese abantu basanzwe, abantu bafite ibyo bakora, abantu bazwi ukuntu, abantu twese hamwe. And then, because what I've noticed from those few videos nuko ni ibintu rusange. So how can niko twakwishyira hamwe rero muri rusange, and then I don't know if you have any ideas, or if actually would you join that? Because I feel like with your knowledge and your would you do something like that?
Of course. I'd be more than honored to do so.
Please, man, let's do this.
I'm down.
Off cameras.
When do we begin?
And it's cheap as well, because man.
Right, free therapy.
Yeah.
Group therapy.
Yeah. Twinkaraenze.
One thing though I'll say is that this is why I was saying I appreciate what you're doing with Vanilla Taboo, because you're bringing out things. People are dealing with these things every day. Ariko muri societe yacu dufite ikintu cyo kubika ibanga. And I've done a couple of videos, some online, some that were just shared within particular circles. And I used to blog a lot about my personal experiences. I remember my very first blog article was about my dad. I grieved my dad 3 years later.
Oh.
So when I released that first article, the feedback was incredible. Exactly like you're saying. People were writing to me in private saying, "Oh my goodness, I've been feeling like this, but I didn't know that this is a genuine feeling. I was feeling embarrassed about this. I was feeling shy." And it makes me sadder because men in our society, we grew up being told,
tugomba kuba ama gangster.
Right? Gangster all the way. So men are taught you're not supposed to emote, to be emotional. Bumugabo, whatever, you know, because you're told that as a child, you grew up feeling like if I cry, I'm weak. Emotions are weakness. But let me tell you, emotions are such bravery. Being able to even express them, it takes so much bravery. You can tell me from the perspective of a guy, it takes a lot of effort and bravery to be genuine, to show up as your genuine self, not as society has formed you and shaped you. And so, anyway, I was just saying, from the different videos, blogs, the different pieces I've done, I've had the same reaction and same feedback as well. And from guys saying, you know, as a man, it's tough for me to really admit that I'm going through stuff because our society doesn't allow or permit for that to happen. And it's a sad thing. I mean, I really would love to do this other off-camera platform with you. You know, we share experiences.
Yeah, you know, once a month, once every now and then, just invite everybody. You know, cool evening. We can, you know, B.O.B. like bring your own drink, whatever you drink. You can drink if you're comfortable with alcohol, coffee, whatever.
Right.
But let's sit down and just have this deep talks and just connect and. Tunabwirane ko ntabwo uri wenyine, you know, ntabwo uri hariya muri ibyo bintu wenyine. And then, you know why I believe so much in this, and actually why I'm doing this. I'm personally, as a person, I'm so goal-driven that akantu kose gatoya mu nzira kambuza kugera aho nakagombye kugera. It's worth dealing with it. It's worth my time. It's worth exploring. It's worth, you know, solving. So, and it hurts me so much seeing young potentials like us, our friends, and whatever, with so much potential and so much talent, wanting to go somewhere, wanting to, you know, to achieve something, and mental health is in the way, and you don't want to address it because it has the social stigma. Like, who cares? I mean, you know, we don't care about the journey, we care about the result. You know, once you've achieved what your heart wants, what you can for your family, for yourself, for the people, you know, it's time zero. So I've been called names from, you know, from a young age. Amazina menshi natandukanye na n'uyu munsi. In the previous video I was telling the joke how, you know, bakwita iki, ukitwa iki, ukitwa homosexual, ukitwa iki, ukitwa ibindi, all of that niba biri mu nzira zanjye zo kugera aho nshaka kugera, nziko bizangira akamaro, bikagirira abanjye akamaro, bikagirira abandi akamaro. I don't care. Jewe nzi uwo ndiwe, and it's okay if you bring compliments. It's okay if you come and tell me we like this with this, or like, oh, we appreciate this. It's okay. But even if you don't, ndabizi ko ngoroye nk'urutambi nta kintu wambwira cyahindura, you know that. So and I think there's a lot of us that need to adapt. We need to adapt to that mentality of saying, you know what, nzikinshimisha, nzicyo nkunda, nzicyo ndicyo, most importantly, ntacyo wakora cyangwa se wavuga cyabihindura. Untekereje ukundi ntari, that is not my problem to deal with. That is your problem. You know, I'll keep being me, I'll keep doing what I do, I'll keep being who I am, and then you'll adapt at some point, as long as I don't come in your personal space. So I think we need to adapt, because hari ibintu biri hanze, you know, like on the society, within the society, biza bikaguhindura, bikakwangiza, ukaba something you are not, and something negative, you know, and it just byica so, you know, so many talents, and just bikadu crippling, and it hurt, like it grates, you know, it kills me. So yeah, maybe that evening, that chill, if we can sit down and, you know, share these things and say, you know, you've called me this, you know, they've called me this, but I'm still standing, I'm doing this, and I'm not different to you, you know, we can do the same thing, and if you can achieve this through this, why not? If you can call me a thief now, ntari umujura, ntacyo inzego z'umutekano zinshinja, keep calling me that until ngiye nzagera ku byanjye, and then uzabona ko ntari umujura. So that does not make me a thief, you know. So yeah, I mean, let's probably, you know, have coffee sometime, you know, off cameras, and plan this, and then invite everybody to come. I mean, be part of it. I think that would be a great initiative where we, you know,
hurt them.
We can, we can achieve more. We can do more, you know, with a healthier a mind, you know.
I want to add on what you were saying.
Yeah.
I've had, ever since, you know, I started this whole counseling journey, myself being a counselor or giving counseling being counseled, I've had these talks with my mom, my grandma, you know, kujandele perspective yabo, and the general perspective, you was a mental health. My grandma particularly has this thing. Like you're too soft, basically.
Yeah.
And I understand where she's coming from because again, they grew up in survival mode, so they had no time for emotions and stuff.
Yeah.
And so,
but doesn't mean that they didn't have emotions.
They had them. They just didn't know how to deal with them, right?
Yeah. They dismissed them. Yeah.
So for me, I want to approach it from this saying, or generally the perspective to fit mu Rwanda cyangwa se muri Africa nuko ivuze ibintu bya mental health n'abana bari weak, bari just entitled, bari this and that, but I would like to disagree and say, you know, you can't give what you don't have. And hurt people. You know, we always say this in the counseling circles. When you're hurt, you genda nibikomere ukomeretsa n'abandi, right? Kandi if we don't deal with these mental health things, ahubwo nibwo tukomeza turi weak kubera ko ukomeza wiguardinga ugira gutya, ariko when you dig down kugira ngo umenye ikibazo kiri hehe, say how can I address it so I can be a healthier version, a stronger version.
N'abana bacu batazaba victims.
Right, batazaba because we have victims, you know, of our parents. Our parents are victims of their own parents and generations before and stuff. So I think of it in a way of ahubwo, let's use that kugira ngo build your mental strength wavugaga, where someone will call me names and it won't shake me because I'm firm and confident in who I am, right? Yeah. So it's that, and then ikindi is boundaries. I love talking about boundaries because I came from 0 boundaries to some pretty good level of boundaries, and I always say that your lack of boundaries will hurt other people's boundaries, right? So kuko utari aware your boundaries, like Simba iyo ari in this particular zone, I shouldn't, you know, kumwinjirira muri space, right? Cyangwa se kwinjirira. Boundaries apply to different things. They apply to people, to conversations, to places, environments, you know, things like that. So no kumenya kwimenya, self-awareness twavugaga, your identity ukayimenya ukayisobanukirwa ukavuga, these are my weaknesses and I'm working on them, these are my strengths and I'm going to enhance them, so no one can, you know, really shake you, and you know, storms of life will come, they'll come and go, but what does that leave you like? Every storm is irakugusha se
hari icyiza igusigira, hari cyo wungukamo, hari you know, sometimes ari nyine njya muri gahunda zanjye zikanjyana kure, I don't see nyine ibiri on the surface. Hari igihe mfata machine nkajya muri coffee shop cyangwa resto, I open it on my own, nkanakomanda ibiryo nkarya, abajema bansangaho, bro wicara muri resto ukarya wenyine, nkavuga ni kumbe ndi kurya nyenyine. You know, you don't even notice that, but if I'm being productive, I'm doing something I have to do, you know, why should I eat with somebody else? Tutari nta kintu turi bufashanye kuri ibindi ndakora, you know. Nabikora nimugoroba nkaza kuza kujya gusangira nawe. It doesn't mean that we don't have, I know we are social beings and we are a very social society, but you know, now
and you
it's
know, most people who can't do that, they're not comfortable with themselves, with just being by themselves. Isolation of sit with your thoughts, sit with your discomfort, and sit with your problems and issues outside of the noise, right? Outside of, you know, I would get recharged from being around people, from doing stuff, listening to stuff, that sitting alone with my own thoughts. So when I did that work, I enjoyed time alone. Before, it was a myth.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and you know, mental health is so vast that we don't realize it. Because mental health comes back and harms our marriages. It comes and harms our careers, it comes and harms our friendships, family life, you know, all these things. And then ukuntu tubyi-ignoringa tukabiturninga down, nibyo mba numva ni kuko turi gusimbuka the most important part, tukajya mu bindi kandi bigatuma noneho tukabyita yandi mazina. Twarashakanye, kanaka yashatse na kanaka, tugeze mu rugo, and then arananiye, biranze, agiye hariya, agiye hano, you know, doesn't go, I came with my traumas, you came with yours. We could have treated this, we could have spoken about this and make this love story work, you know? And now we are blaming on each other. Ni amakosa yawe, ni wowe utameze, ni wowe utazi gusasa, ni wowe utazi guteka, ni wowe utazi, you know? So, and also, I mean, I'm not married. I've been in experiences that, I've been in relationships that I felt married, though I know I can never speak for married people, you know? But, I mean, you know, I was a lover boy. I had my first girlfriend in grade Magatano Primary. Can't talk in 2 years. So
2 years? Yeah, in grade 5?
I'm a serious nigga.
Are you still a serious nigga?
Yeah, very, very much so. And then I never stopped, even, you know, since, until a couple of years ago. And yeah, I was always involved in long-term relationships, and one of the most serious I like speaking about was almost 6 years, 5.5. And then in some instances, twaranabanye gato. I was nigaga hanze, and then kuri mu rugo hafi ishuri, nawe same thing. So we kind of, you know, and I learned a lot. Nizemo byinshi, and especially on love and no kubana. It's not easy, man. It's not easy, you know. So arije tubivugaho nyine tugacaho tugenda, ariko it's more serious than that. Yeah. And I think nayo mpamvu n'uyu munsi ntanashaka kuko I feel like ibyo naciyemo I was not prepared for it. Uyu munsi ndashaka kongera kubisubiramo noneho you know, very prepared for it. Kuko back then numvaga ko nyine ushyiramo 50% nawe ugashyiramo 50%, relationship ikaba 100%. You put in 100, she puts in 100, yeah. You know, and then it makes, you know, 100%. Yeah. So it's not easy. Hari utuntu dutoya triggeringaga, you know, imishwanire. Ya probero mu cyumba yakoreshejwe différemment. Hari ibyo utamo, hari ibyo atayemo. You know. Yeah, no, jewe my own personal experience with that. Mba tugitangira kubana. Nk'umukobwa nyine mbere yuko aza narihayiraga. Kuko noneho shops zabaga kure cyane, wahaga nk'ibintu by'ukwezi ugashyira aho ngaho. So nawe aje yasanze aga stock nyine kazamara nk'iyindi 2 weeks. So nyuma yaho ngaho izo 2 weeks nyine nk'umukobwa muri relationship, your responsibility ni yawe, ubutaha uzagiye gukora, you know, shopping, you know, you do the errands, you know, and now do other stuff. I think mu bwana bwiza cyangwa se mu gufashanya yahashye ibindi ntarimenyere, ariko biguze make kugira ngo duservinge nka couple, you know, which byavuye ahantu hazima. Ariko icyo gihe nari maze imyaka hafi nk'umunani noga Dove. Sha icyo gihe yazanye urubohoro rwari ekivana ya duru cya give. No, kuko byasanze another stock, so it lasted another maybe a week or so. And then njya gukoresha nyine imwe yazanye inyuma ya iyo week yaramaze gukora shopping. And at 6 in the morning ujya muri douche usanga mu kiboro ebana kimwe ugenda wahindukira gutya tucyumva kirakumva ukumva wa mwuka, and it just, you know, it no birakurakaza, and then ukajya gushaka kumubaza gute ugasanga umuntu ariryamira ari kugona imere neza, and then like, so n'ubuntu buto wajya mu gikono ugasanga wowe hari sosiso waryaga haje yindi akandi nawe akaza ugasanga telekomando yashyize hano ibibaye ibindi bikabera kwa aggravating again. So iyo build up ito tuntu twose tugatuma nyine mushwana mugasera no byaterwa nanone nibyo nizo trauma zawe zahe utari wa addressing nicely bikaza no mugasanga mura clashing. So I think those couples as well, because I hear it today, most of my friends are married, you know, harabo nyine muganira cyangwa so kumva even those things, but then again ntabwo abarenganya kuko most of them hari igihe babijyamo je mfite ameruka Imana yamaye yo sample, ariko warujyamo atabizi at all. And then in a marriage, you know, we're born in the families, you know, so yeah, and then I think we need to, you know, maybe find, you know, some kind of naho twabatumira bakatukaganira, and then bakatwigisha, and then tugasharing those experiences and see if we can. All I'm saying is that if this can make us better people, achieve better, do better, perform better, it's worth the time.
Yeah.
You know, reka tubikore, you know.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how you see that point of marriage, especially.
Yeah, I mean, just like you, I'm not married either. But I keep saying that I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
For example, I'm never married, because every year, you know, when you think you figured out this life thing, you think, I know myself, I know how to do love, I know how to do relationships. Then you discover and you realize I actually know nothing. So for me, I say that I'm grateful because it's given me time to really deal with my stuff. Like, each of us has our own ish going on, right? You keep hurt people. You keep bleeding on someone that never cut you. You keep, punishing someone for something they never did to you.
Yeah.
And so I absolutely agree with you that we need to address that. We're not married, we're not experts of marriage, but at least from my little knowledge, the trainings I've had, the research that I've done, one of the simple things like you were talking about, I say this, that a human being is an extremely complex system. Complex. You know, when I was doing my training, therapy, there is something called the 5 love languages. I think you're familiar with those. So I was like, now I figured out my love languages, so I understand human beings. Then I discovered Enneagram style that defines your personalities. I'm like, oh snap. Okay, there's these other 9 things that define a human being. Then I was like, I figured it out. How I discovered attachment style. This is how we love, depending on how we grew up and stuff. So I'm like, how many more of these things are there that define a human being? And then we're topic of hormones, right? How hormones determine how we react to things and stuff. So then it made me realize we're extremely complex systems that like marriage, that's naturally going to be your one complex system. There's this other complex system. You're trying to merge and create, the Bible says when they marry, you become one. But how are you becoming one moody?
Grinding each other.
Like in IT, they say the systems don't communicate with each other. They don't speak the same language. So that conflict is bound to happen. But when you get into that marriage, you're totally equipped. Undi ukavuga you always come home late, you don't think of me.
You project into the next person.
You project to the other person. Probably uzutinze because you're like, oh no, I have to finish this business thing in your head is
and for the benefit of the family.
And it's so innocent for you, and you're like, if I crack this deal, my wife is covered for, my kids are covered for a while, but she's receiving it as you avoiding spending time with her at home, right? So because we don't know each other and then we don't communicate.
Yeah.
No communication. I always think that
actually,
right? So
umfashije ku articulating impamvu gene nashaka. My family has been on my case. Ariko in a nice way. I think they're not really serious. It's a joke, but I think nicho gihe nyine. Barabambaza on my case, ryari, but actually I laugh. We make jokes. I haven't addressed them and tell them, this is why I'm not married yet. And I think that just made me, also, find the right words to actually, if they're gonna watch this, answer them and know why I'm not married.
They will.
So I think the reason why I'm not married yet is because I've been in so many relationships, good and bad, and the good, excellent. Mama yake kabisa. Ziza was happy for a very long time, and only until recently, if Mia can get tissues, that's when I've been in bad ones. So I kind of saw, two sides of a relationship, and the lesson I took from it, umuntu mubana nyine nk'umugena kinyarwanda ntazimaze kumanya amahembe muzashwana hari ibintu mupfa nyine nk'abantu n'ibintu bisanzwe.
Even the siblings, right?
Ariko ikintu lesson nakuye muri relationships gukundana n'iki, it was I want to base my marriage on love, because it was so easy to forgive when we fought, when we clashed. It was so easy to forgive mukobwa nakundaga, and it was so hard to forgive uwo ntakundaga.
Why were you in that relationship? This is something we can talk about.
You can start off with high, it was attachment. There's, we vibed, and then we did the thing. But nyine kubera ukuntu mubanye, response, the chemistry, it didn't. Yeah, you love them at a certain depth, but what twakundanye, like really twakundanye, forgiving was easy. Like everything the next joke murarwana and then
Yeah.
later on tonight mwongeye mwabaye bajama ariko uwo muta if it was not really based on love, you know, atari aho uturuka aho ukomoka umuryango uvamo akazi ukora amafaranga ufite umuryango wawe, you know, I don't want to go into, you know, that, you know, down that lane. I really want to base it on love, and I'm hopeful. I believe in love because I saw what, you know, what it did and the good side of it, and forgiveness came easy and natural. And I want to marry a woman I love so that I can forgive easily, and vice versa. I hope she'll love me to forgive me as well, because we all are. You know?
But there's a doctor in psychology, I forget it, Dr. Ken something.
Yeah.
He says, forgiveness does not always mean I am wrong and you are right, so that's why I'm asking for forgiveness.
Yeah.
But for most times it means I value our relationship, that I'm willing to lay down my ego, you know, and say, hey, I'm sorry for what happened.
Yeah.
Can we work this out? So
yeah.
You know.
So now
nanjye
nyine nk'inigiri, you know, he was egocentric. I mean, nk'abatipe twese dufite tugira ego, but it was easier for me to put that ego aside and say sorry when I'm not wrong.
Or when the other person doesn't even ask for forgiveness.
Yes, for the lady I loved.
Ooh, I'm touched.
Yeah. True story. Yeah. I hope my dad sees this because he's on my case. Anyways, so closing this, Alice, what, you know, the $1 million question, what do you think the youth should be prioritizing when it comes to mental health in order to achieve all this bullshit we're talking about?
Yeah. I think they should focus on self-discovery is the number one thing I was saying even from before, is when you get to know yourself, believe that you are worth the investment, know that you are worth doing the painful work just so you can be on the other side of yourself, or you know, a better and a greater version of yourself. Stop the blame game, the entitlement of saying my parents are just not doing this and this for me. And sometimes it's genuinely what your parents are not giving you enough, your environment is not healthy for you, but you know, taking ownership of your own life, taking ownership of your own emotions or your own mental health. Okay, I'm struggling with this thing. Deal with it. Figure out, why am I feeling this way? Look for resources. No, normally era of internet, you have all the resources possible available.
Google is amazing. You've got all the answers there.
Yeah, yeah. So there are amazing resources. We can even share them in a link below.
Yeah,
the video.
Yeah, definitely. And subscribe.
And subscribe, and then tap on those links.
Yeah.
We can share those links where, you know, you figure out what are your love languages, what are your attachment styles, figure out your personality type, because you're triggered by different things depending on your personality and all those things. Begin from there. Figure out who you are. No one else is going to do the work for you. Unfortunately, that's the reality of the harsh world out here, but take ownership to say, I want to be healthy. I want to be stronger, healthier, and you know, when you do the work, you love better. Ariko, one is I'm proud of you for acknowledging that you're going through something, and I'm proud of you for being vocal about it and keeping on. That's the right thing to do. What we're doing wrong, or we or you are doing wrong, is also the entitlement. And I'm not saying this out of a vacuum. Is something that within therapy circles I've heard from fellow therapists and other people, you know, who are and other people who are experienced or qualified in this area, is that to be hindered about, oh, this person owes me this person like this. So you make it an external thing. You give the power to the other person, whereas you should own that. So Nadina Vivuzeho, the ownership. So I'd say acknowledge, be vocal about these things, but then internalize and process within. Take ownership for your life, and just know that you owe it to yourself to do the work and to heal yourself and improve.
Ooh.
So after this show, I'm actually challenged to have deeper conversations with people like Simba. I've mostly had these conversations with fellow female women, and I've hardly had these conversations with a man. and just hearing some of the experiences you've shared, I'm actually intrigued to get to know the man's perspective a bit more, and that would improve in how maybe I relate and communicate with male counterparts. My challenge to the next person is I run an organization with 2 other partners.
Shenge
Children Organization. Shenge like Mama Shenge ni izina ry'ikibyiniriro. And we take care of children with disabilities ranging from age 5 to 15. Kandi bo mu budehe bwo hasi. Bon, it's not called ubudehe. It's not numbers anymore. I think it's letters. Ariko dufasha babandi batifashije batishoboye tubitaho tukabigisha tubaha healthcare, and then tubakorera na advocacy, ubuvugizi yaba ari muri community batuyemo yaba ari mu buyobozi, and to be able to do that we need a lot of support, resources. So I challenge the next speaker to donate towards Shenge. You can donate financially, you can also give us your time, you can give us materials, ibitabo, imyenda, yaba ari iy'abana cyangwa se n'ababyeyi babo, because baba muri families ziri
ibiringiti ni Musanze, so harakonje.
Yes, absolutely. Food, whatever your heart leads to, I challenge you to donate towards Shenge, and maybe even visit us. We would love that. Thank you. Thank you
very much. We loved having you, and hopefully, we will be working towards that evening,
Yes, I look forward
whatever, get together and have this deep converse as you mentioned with everybody. Everybody who wants to join. It's going to be free for all, and everybody who's comfortable, being vulnerable in a safe space and talking about these things, because
or to even just come and listen in.
You don't even have to share your own stories. You can come and share first, and then within your time igihe cyawe cyageze wumva noneho buriya kuko impamvu ibi byose ni ugufasha, ni ukugira ngo ube a better person, nanjye mbe a better person, nawe ube a better person. So you welcome. Kandi urugamba nta warubishoboza wenyine, kandi it's a human condition, man. Ntago ari iby'uruhu rwera cyangwa se by'abameze gutya, by'abarebare, by'abahengamye. It's ni ibya twese kandi nta rubwa, nta soni biteye, nta kibazo, man. It's life, nibwo buzima. Ntago waba successful ngo ugire umuryango uri successful, inshuti, abavandimwe, ubumurokore ufutuye, utajudging, ibi byose utameze neza kichwani. So man, it's kandi nta kibazo, nta ribi. You welcome, man. We will announce very soon uko bizaba biteye programme, hanyuma umunsi ahantu, and pull through. Karibu.
And subscribe.
Subscribe. Alice, thank you very much. It was
Sure.
a pleasure to have you.